The NBA Eastern Conference Final is complete, and we have our Eastern Conference champions in the Miami Heat. Game 7 complete, and I could say I was disappointed a little bit. I expected a bit more from the Celtics. I mean, I know they had Jayson Tatum injured in the very first play, but still. But anyways, let's get into it and let's talk about what this series does for both teams, being the Celtics and the Miami Heat. Let's go. So first things first, well done to the Miami Heat. Well done to Jimmy Butler winning his Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Could have honestly went to Cody Martin. Now this isn't even me lying. I really think Cody Martin could have won that award. He was just incredibly consistent across the entire series. Played incredibly good basketball across the entire series. I think he averaged 19 points across the series. Jimmy Butler obviously averaged more, but there were some games where offensively Jimmy Butler just wasn't there. For example, game 6, Jimmy Butler just wasn't there offensively and shot 14 free throws, which is how he got his points up. But Caleb Martin played incredibly well defensively and offensively, and I feel like he needs some recognition for that. But yeah, the Miami Heat now go on to face the Denver Nuggets. Hopefully tomorrow I can make a preview video and my prediction for the NBA Finals between the Denver Nuggets and Miami Heat. But it should be a good series, especially given the fight of Miami Heat and the ability of the Denver Nuggets. I feel like it will be a really good matchup in terms of ability versus effort. But we'll see what happens with my predictions when I make that video tomorrow. The Celtics, on the other hand, have a lot of things to ask about. Because, of course, Jayson Tatum was injured in the first play. I can't blame Jayson Tatum, but I can blame the rest of the team. Just because Jayson Tatum's ankle is injured doesn't mean the rest of the team has to shoot a gajillion threes. If your three isn't falling, attack the paint. If your three isn't falling, attack the paint. I don't expect Jayson Tatum to attack the paint because Jayson Tatum's ankle's injured. But Jaylen Brown stopped shooting threes. 8 threes, every single one missed. And then it was as if in his head he thought, I'm Jayson Tatum now. And he started doing these dribble moves with the loosest handles I've seen from an all-star guard ever. If we're counting him as a shooting guard. Like, this is an all-star guard and some loose handles, just like trying to size up somebody, and you're going to get stripped straight away. You're not Jayson Tatum, bro. Like 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 dribbles, shoot, attack the paint, pass, do something. You're not the guy that's going to size up someone, attack out of the triple threat. That's not your game, all right? And then it was just the effort and closeouts. Like, they'd get hit with a screen and they just wouldn't fight over the screen. If you're going to play drop coverage, you need the defender to fight over the screen. If they're throwing screens on Jayson Tatum, you need to not play drop coverage, because Jayson Tatum can't fight over the screen with a broke up ankle. It's not going to happen. It doesn't make any sense to assume that Jayson Tatum's going to fight over the screen when nobody else is fighting over the screen and they're shooting pretty well, the Miami Heat, from the field. It doesn't make any sense. And it was quite weird to see the Boston crowd go silent towards the end of the game. You even saw Duncan Robinson pointing towards his ear, start taunting the fans because they were 22 points up in the fourth quarter. I know people were saying Joe Mazzulla's right to have taken out his starters towards the end of the game, but I mean, it's a game 7 situation. Jayson Tatum, I can get taking him out, but the rest, I'm not. Like, you want to fight to the end. You want to fight 48 minutes of the game. Like, I would, if I'm an NBA player, I know you're jeopardizing your career to an extent, but you've got to fight to the end. Like, that's what sports is all about. The jeopardy behind it, the fight, the will, the never giving up, never giving in. That is what sports is all about, especially a game 7 where it's the be all and end all of a series. Especially the Eastern Conference Finals as well. So now, where do the Boston Celtics go from here? That is the real question. Jaylen Brown is up for a Supermax extension. He can earn bread. But do you want to throw £500 million at 2 players? That is the question. Jayson Tatum, obviously, generational player, deserves it. Does Jaylen Brown deserve it first? And is it going to work for the Celtics? I mean, Jaylen Brown's already done a couple interviews here and there, said a few things that cause you to question maybe his loyalty towards the C's. Maybe he wants to be his own star on his own team. There's a lot of questions you could posit about Jaylen Brown. Personally, I think it works. I think the two J's work, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. But if I'm the Celtics, I'm not giving up 500 million to two players. I'm not giving an extra $250 million to Jaylen Brown when I feel like I could construct this roster beautifully around Jayson Tatum. Give him a secondary star that isn't as expensive as Jaylen Brown, for example. Or if you're paying someone like Jaylen Brown, you could have a better player than Jaylen Brown for $250 million. So for me personally, I think given the fact Jaylen Brown seems like he wants to have his own team now, it might be the right decision to sign and trade, or trade him before. I mean, you can't really trade him before, or just really get rid of him. Or just don't re-sign him and let another team re-sign him. Might be better off in a sided trade situation for cap space though. But I mean, it wasn't a terrible season for them. We've seen the evolution of Joe Mazzulla, a good NBA coach. His very first season as an NBA coach. Can't really fault him too much. He got to an Eastern Conference Finals, battled a lot across the season, trying to force his style of play to move on from the Ime Udoka style of play, which Ime Udoka style of play is infused with a lot of Mazzulla ball, but a lot of moving, passing, switching the ball, constant movement. And obviously they couldn't do that today, specifically the shooting part, but it does seem like a good flow of ball, especially you've seen the defensive switchability this season of the Boston Celtics as well. So I think Joe Mazzulla has nothing to worry about in terms of his job. I feel like he can run it back and play pretty good basketball next season. The Miami Heat can go on to face the Denver Nuggets team that is incredibly hungry for a title, especially given the fact that Nikola Jokic was, in some cases, in some opinions, robbed of an MVP. I don't think he was robbed of an MVP. I think Embiid probably did deserve his MVP, but yeah, he's going to be hungry, and the Denver Nuggets are going to be hungry, and I feel like it's going to be a good series. And I won't give my prediction. I was really about to give my prediction there. I won't give my prediction now. I'll just go through a preview. That's what I expect from the tactics tomorrow. And hopefully we can enjoy our time here on the LQ Talks Hoops channel. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you, man, in a bit. Boom.